Polo, known as the sport of kings, is played in over 15 countries in Africa, including South Africa, Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria, to name but a few, and this year, South Africa takes on Nigeria. South Africa is the dominant polo playing country in the continent, with our history in the sport dating back to over a century ago. The sport is known to be nothing short of luxury. However, that doesn't mean only the rich and famous love the game, as it is appreciated by a wide range of sports fanatics.
Polo is a magical sport. It is a sport which is a bond between a player and a pony. And in fact, you feel it as a spectator when you actually watch it. So it was a wonderful thing for the first time when I watched it. And to elaborate more on the game, it is really simple. It is a hockey, if I may say, on a horse. It's people playing on ponies. It's 4 a side, 4 people play on each team. And you hit the ball with what you call a mallet, which is like a stick made out of bamboo so that it bends quite nicely. Another interesting fact is that every player is right-handed or has to play right-handed. And the reason is that nobody gets injured and the ponies also don't get injured during the process. And you hit the ball with your mallet, you score just like there are goals on each side. But the game is played in what we call chukkers.
A chukka is 7 minutes. The interval between chukkers is 3 minutes.
Africa Polo Open is a continental tournament where South Africa plays another African country in polo. So the national teams are represented. So the tournament really started a while ago. It's been a work in progress. For about 5 years, we've been working hard to get to a point where we have a continental cup. We started off first as the Interprovincial Cup, which were provinces that played against each other. Then last year, actually, we started then playing a true continental cup with Kenya. And this year is the 2nd year running, and we renamed it the Africa Polo Open, which is befitting. This tournament is firstly to grow the sport in viewership, in spectatorship, and even people to play. But secondly, also to make sure that we start displaying the talent that we have in the polo fraternity. We have a big history with horsemanship and also with polo the sport. And it's a good platform and a great stage to host that. The idea is to play different blocks of the country every single year. Last year we played the East Block, which was Kenya. This year is the West Block, which is Nigeria. Next year, we're hoping to play the South Block. I'll keep in suspense who that country is. So we call ourselves the grandest polo tournament in Africa. Not grand necessarily in size, but grand in experience. It is a true African experience. It is something that you've never seen before. We're not only watching people ponies, but there are also other things. We're revealing a trophy this year, which is the Africa Polo Open Trophy with a parade in true African style. What I'm really excited about this year is that we featured a lady called Neku, and she is a professional polo player from Nigeria, a lady. She featured on our campaign this year. She'll be playing on the opening game, which is the ladies' game. We're also flying in a lady called Patricia Egi from Uganda. And the whole idea is to really try to express to people, to unearth and say, look, there are people already who are actually playing this. We are unearthing it and presenting it to you.
International teams do not travel with their horses. Therefore, the Nigerians had to take some time out to familiarize themselves with the horses they will be riding on match day.
We're here to practice, stick and ball, and choose the horses for the game on Sunday. So all the 4 players are here choosing their horses and then give the lineup, arrange the horses for practice checkers tomorrow, and then the main event on Sunday. I think I started riding when I was as old as 7. And my father was a jockey in Nigeria. He retired, and I grew up where horses are, so I grew up with the horses. So I started playing the game as far back as 1985. You have to look for a very good horse, especially in this kind of tournament. You need a very good, quick and calm horse in order for you to have control in the game. That's the most important thing. You have the control, the speed, and the ability in everything in the game.
What exactly goes into choosing a horse, and how many does one player need?
I think I can go for at least 15. Then I can be able to choose up to 8, which are perfect for me for the game. And for each of the players, I think we need to pick at least 8 good horses, average horses that we can be able to handle. We're going to try at least 15 each, and then you can select from the 15.
Formally welcome the players, an exquisite dinner was hosted by the African Polo Open organizers at the Four Seasons Hotel in Johannesburg. The highlight of the evening's proceedings was the introduction of the Nigerian and South African teams on stage, and of course, the guests were treated to a variety of great cuisines and beverages. The sky is clear, the pitch is green, and the Rosefield Polo Club is the host venue of the 2018 Africa Polo Open. What would a competition be without a trophy? In true African style, drums beating and voices singing, the big trophy was paraded for all to marvel in its beauty.
The Rosefield Polo Club is playing host to the 2018 edition of the Africa Polo Open, where for the first time in history, South Africa will be up against Nigeria. The weather permits what promises to be an enthralling day of test match polo. Who will it be, SA or Nigeria? Let the action commence.
Takes it nicely. Here she comes down. Now we get a little chance to see these ladies in action. Backing up well and driving down the field. Moving now, leading man number 1. And he's rectified as she went over the top of that ball. Jossie riding the horse, copycat in this chucker. And here come the ladies of Queen Andy, driving it down the field. The Ansbar over the top, backing up well. It's Jossie Spilsbury, riding copycat, and it's Jossie Spilsbury, hassled all the time by Alida Verma. Jossie Spilsbury, Jossie, Alida comes in, Jossie shoots for goal, and she scored! Did he go up? To the board, and he picks up there nicely for Renee Baker, and away goes Renee Baker. She's riding a horse called Monica in this chucker, taking it down. Still Renee has it. Renee pushing forward, backed up by her sister, Leanne Spark behind her. Renee. We have 2 sisters playing this morning, this afternoon. We have brothers on both teams. So a right family affair in polo. Beautifully taken there by Renee Baker. Jossie Spilsbury again. Jossie, she's over the top. In backing up well there was Leanne Spark. Leanne leads it. In through Leanne Spark. Leanne leads it. In through comes Neku. Eterodi is left now for Aggie to one way. Aggie takes the shot forward. Backing up well there is Anne Pickard. And in there as well as was Renee Baker. In it goes. Goal number 3. Commissioner for Nigeria. Adam Barker, apologies, correction by my previous management, and it's taken forward there now by Anne Pickard. He pushes it forward, back and takes it nicely. Barker pushes it down there, Leanne, Jossie shoots, Jossie down there, he comes back as well. Over the back line.
Polo is such a beautiful sport. It's such a global sport. It's the intersection with working with the greatest animals on earth and working with human beings. But you know, the strategizing and just being able to play a team sport and working with animals, it's amazing. It's a character builder, and it's just such a beautiful sport to play.
As a female in a male-dominated industry, what is it like? What are some of the challenges that you have encountered?
So now female polo is growing leaps and bounds, and we're focusing on pushing that more. I think that, you know, our games usually get thrown in the start when no one is there. So I think female polo we're still trying to show that we do deserve, you know, the limelight and But yeah, it's amazing that for once Africa Polo Open did a female exhibition and just showed people that, women do this, men do it too, and so maybe you can do it too. But yeah, I think the challenges are the same with the female in most industries, is just getting the opportunity and then showing that you can when you do get the opportunity. I was the first to go professional that was a black African. There's quite a few professional female players. It's really inspiring because the girl that I played against in Uganda, she started playing polo because she watched me play 3 years ago. So that's coming full circle, and just seeing somebody that you hear about, people that get inspired from hearing about your story, but truly meeting them is so humbling. And there's so many women before me that also inspired me to do this. South African polo, the girls are so tough. Jocelyn Spilsbury, who played on the other team, I think she's won 4 gold medals for polo cross. So the girls really, really go here, and I think it's an amazing challenge to play against such strong women.
And just talk us through the relationship between a player and a pony.
It's a really good question. I don't know if you watched, I had a bit of a struggle on the second chukka with a horse that I didn't know, and that is a huge advantage when you're playing your own horses. It's a bit of a struggle when you have to travel to play, and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you're not. So I played 3 amazing horses. One of them got a bit nervous because of everything going on, and that really affected the game. I'm moving to South Africa so that I can take advantage of just the really, really competitive polo scene here and have my own string. And that's just a lot better. It's like driving a car. If you get into your friend's car, you're not as confident pushing the car, but you know your car, you know what your car's going to do. Now add feelings to it and a living thing. It's really, really important to know your horses and know what they're about to do. It keeps the game safe.
What inspired you to get involved in polo?
Well, the agility of the horses, the speed, the family that polo brings together. Like if you come to Uganda, the polo club is such a family link. Like everyone's so nice to each other. And when I said, I want to take out polo seriously, everyone was so welcoming. They're like, oh yes, we'll help you do this, we'll help you do that. And yeah, it was so easy to get into polo.
And you mentioned that this was your first competitive
Yes, this is my first tournament. So before this tournament, I didn't have a handicap, like, the level riding. So I'm so glad that, I got to play with these amazing girls. Neku Atawadi, my role model, she's from Nigeria. I get to meet her, and I was so, oh my God, I'm so strong.
How was it though? Were you starstruck or?
Starstruck, I'm like, and she's so nice.
Yeah.
She's very like I said, it all goes down to polo family, like everyone being so nice. She's so nice. Now she's like a big sister. Like, I'm so happy.
What is it like, competing in a sport that's very male dominated?
I must say, well, I only feel like you're a lady playing polo. It is male dominated, but you can still play just as good as the men play. So I feel like that's not an issue. Like we have some ladies that are better than some men. So as long as you get your skill up, you can make it.
And what's your biggest goal? As an athlete, what would you like to achieve?
Well, I would like more girls to get into sport in general in Uganda, because I feel like some females have barriers, or they can't do it because of the perception with our culture. So I'd like to see girls do more more challenging things. Because if I say I would like more girls to get into polo, then I wouldn't be realistic. Yeah. But I'd like them to get to do challenging things, to go out more.
crowd was thoroughly entertained in the ladies' curtain raiser in a match that featured Nigeria's Neku as well as Agi from Uganda. It ended in a 6-2 victory for Team Nandi. Up next is the men's match, South Africa up against Nigeria.
Ready to welcome them on. In the middle, and we'll be just ready. And playing for South Africa in the number 4 position, the opponent. Polo of the Royal Bafokeng Nation can throw the ball in. We have 6 seconds. Tight for the side. I hope you are professional. And then the link to the team. I don't like that anyone will call it. Stop the field and we're in it. He picks up now by Dirk van Renen. Dirk pushes it forward. He has support. Dirk is riding a horse called Chestnut in this chucker. Dirk sits Stones, the highest rated player on the field towards the goal. He goes. Brother Hotzo comes in. The ball is protected. Backhand nicely taken there by Mohammed. 30 horses. Yes, and that goal on the board with a very quickly taken penalty. He's Dirk. He was going forward. He came round, circle back. Dirk van Renen, captain of the team, all around well. So really young man. He's our Dirk. And taking it through Brad McGibbon. Brad goes towards the goal mouth, picking it up well. Dirk again. Dirk shoots on the near side, loses it. Zombie to Dirk van Renen, only 22 years of age. He's got a great polo future. Dirk van Renen towards the goal mouth. Dirk, has he managed to put it in? Oh, I've lost it. Through comes Brad McGibbon. Brad McGibbon. Unfortunately for him, he's over the top. Zombie to Tetsi, cancelled out by Abdul Malik. Zombie takes it on the near side. Zombie to the offside. Zombie, he played last year against Kenya when they beat Kenya. Can he do it again against Nigeria? Zombie to Tetsi. Zombie. Is he going to... Oh, what a clearance there by Bella Buba. Nigeria on fire. The defensive play excellent there by them. 30 seconds remaining. Still the advance though. Stolen back by Dirk van Renen. Dirk turns it around. Still has it. Dirk, look at the ball play from Dirk. Playing tennis there. Big backhand there from Idris Banamasi. But Dirk van Renen goes through the crowd of Nigerian shirts. Abdul Malik. Dirk van Renen shoots. Goal! Dirk van Renen puts another one onto the board at the end of the third chucker. And it's Dirk van Renen who puts South Africa number 4.
After 4 chuckers, it's the home team that is leading. South Africa leading by 4-1 against Nigeria. They go into halftime enjoying that lead and they'll be looking to protect it at the second half. The spectators have been invited onto the pitch to take part in the Stomping Divo, which is a tradition in the sport of King's Polo.
Lovely play from Bella, takes it down the field, riding spotless, up to his hand captain, Mohammed Lavangida, Mohammed! Yes! Now it's a big margin, South Africa lead, Mohammed Lavangida sends that one up. 8. And in comes Bella Boomer, and a big backhand from him. In comes Abdul Malik, near side. Abdul Malik shoots! How furious it was. They put piece of South Africa as the back door is taken by Bella Boomer. He sends it down the field. Not the defensive goes. There goes the final winner. Let's give a big hand of applause as South Africa will come out the winners of the 2000 Africa Polo Open here at the Rose tonight. The Rosedale Polo Club by 6 goals to 4. What a grand match. I must say, Nigeria, they went down by 2 goals in the first 2 minutes, but then they really came back strongly.
Today's match was very difficult. I mean, playing against a country that you haven't played against or that you have never faced against. We played against Nigeria today for the first time. I mean, you never know what to expect when you play against a country for the first time, but it was quite a tough match, and I'm glad that we came out on top today.
You had the backing of your supporters.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, being a home team, you've always got the backing of your supporters, which is fantastic. Without their support, you'll never have that little bit of extra, what do you say, cheers behind you, you know?
The second half was quite close. There were moments where it looked like they were going to come back to the game. How was it?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the second half, Nigeria completely changed their tactic. We didn't change anything because, of course, we were in the front, in the lead, so we didn't feel the need to change anything. But we had to adapt very quickly, come by the 5th chukker, because in the 4th, they took us by surprise a little bit.
And what pleased you more about this performance, the score results or the performance?
Obviously, the score result is the first thing that pleases you when you win. But no, personally, I'm very happy with the way that we played and the way that the Nigerians played. They were competitive, we were competitive. I never at one time felt that there was a team that could dominate the other team. It was very 50-50 throughout the game.
Idris, thank you so much for chatting to us. Congratulations on your MVP accolade. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, I'm very happy to be MVP on this tournament. And international tournament, Nigeria against South Africa. We lost by 2 goals, but still we are happy. So we'll try our best next time.
And what would you say were some of the challenges coming into this match, playing against unfamiliar ponies?
Yeah, really, we do expect more than this, but with the way I see the match, we try our best because the previous set, they lost by far, by many goals, but we lost by 2 goals. So we are happy next time we make it.
Today's game was quite fast-paced, so I think it shows that African warriors were on the field. So, and I think it's great that South Africa won again. I think we won as well last year. Yeah, it was a fast-paced game, fun, engaging, and good to see South Africa winning this one.
What I love about the polo is an excuse to get dressed up and look pretty. Never hurts. But it's also really nice to meet new people and interact with people and like really see South Africa doing their thing. This is my first polo, and there was a point where I wasn't sure we were going to win it, but like the boys did a good job, so big ups to them.
I think it was fantastic. For me, I think I want to start playing polo. That's how good it was, you know. It was such a great game. I loved the spirits, I loved the atmosphere, I loved the people, I loved the guys. I met the guys in the game, so it was great.
Brings us to the end of an exciting day. Congratulations to all the athletes who took part in this year's competition, and of course Team South Africa, who are crowned the 2018 winners of the Africa Polo Open. From myself, Lindiwe Dube, it's goodbye for now.